This presentation is called The Road Less Traveled, Understanding Conflict Theory, and is presented by Elizabeth Perez, LaFaro Williams, Sabrina Caston, Sanaya Hillier, and Whitney Sweet. The practice principles of conflict theory. Conflict theory emerges from the social work of sociologist and philosopher Karl Marx to explain the conflict between the haves and the have-nots, and in ideas of capitalism versus socialism. The macro level theory posits that society is made up of individuals belonging to two different classes who must compete for resources. Some individuals, those in power, are able to obtain and keep more resources than others, the powerless. Marx's perspective has been modified and amplified by various theorists. Sociologist Max Weber, for example, alleged that different groups are affected on the basis of race, gender, sex, or any other element that makes them different. Minorities, people with disabilities, etc. Key concepts of conflict theory include conflict, dominance, oppression, inequality, exploitation, power, dominant and non-dominant groups, alienation, privilege, and empowerment. Practice settings for conflict theory. Conflict theory principles at the micro level are steered by a difference in opinions caused by lack of understanding among the two parties involved. They are steered by individual behavior while interacting with each other. Folger, Poole, and Studman, 2017. A social conflict exists between leaders and their followers. Lehman, 2001. People also clash due to religious affiliation, and this makes development strategies lag behind. People in the religious realm also reveal a social conflict between leaders and their followers. Some examples of micro-level practice settings are included in this slide. At a meso level, the conflict theory principles also involve differences in opinions. In a school setting, a change in the administration might bring some opposition from students and other subordinate staff. This change may be due to prevailing safe working environment created by previous management. Abrahams and Salazar, 2005. Some examples of meso-level practice settings are included on this slide. At a macro level, the emphasis of conflict theory is on capitalism, society, or institution as the problem, not the individual, group, or community. In this setting, the social worker will help clients cope with capitalism. He or she will work to change the society and institution and educate clients about options and the possibility of different societal relationships. Conflict theory in diverse client systems. Developed by Karl Marx, conflict theory finds its application in several practice settings, including those that are made up of diverse client systems. Elements that define conflict theory include sex, race, age, and class. Varnum, 2018. Conflict theory may be used in wars, revolutions, or other forms of discrimination and injustice to reveal disparity in the environment that causes them. Conflict theory can be used to provide services to immigrants and refugees to help with the language and cultural barriers. Conflict theory presents several strengths as well. As shown in earlier slide, this theory can be widely used across all populations and practice settings. Langer and Litz, 2015, page 117. Ranging from individual therapy session between a client and a therapist, all the way to policymakers sitting around a table determining how to create more equity within their community. Additionally, it can be used at all practice levels to analyze the dynamics of conflict. Langer and Litz, 2015, page 117, including the micro, meso, and macro levels. Other strengths include it can be useful to help individuals examine their relationships to conflicts. Langer and Litz, 2015, page 118. By assuming that conflicts are inevitable, individuals are more willing to look at the dynamics of their relationships and see how conflict is affecting them. This normalizes the idea that tension and power struggles occur in every social situation, and welcomes the idea of working through this tension in order to create change. In applying theory to general social work practice, Kimberly A. Peace Stenner, MSW, states that conflict can be great catalyst for change when it's carefully investigated, analyzed, and publicized and strategized in such a way that progress is made. Langer and Litz, 2015, page 1. 15. Limitations of conflict theory. Retaliation. A case example would be if organization sees conflict with an employee that wants to start a union to advocate for better standards at work. The organization could take more serious disciplinary action towards the individual, causing loss in pay and other sanctions to be taken. Retaliation is an important concept when applying conflict theory in the workplace, and our goal as social workers is to never cause harm to people and communities we serve. It is also important to take consideration how much time conflict theory can take to implement. To gather many people in a collective effort to promote change on any level can be difficult and time consuming. As Mayer 2012 has pointed out, the transformation of complex and deeply rooted conflict takes time. Also included in limitations of conflict theory, limited resources is also an issue for social workers practicing conflict theory. Organizations sometimes do not possess the manpower or resources to dedicate to a change model within the organization or for an individual. Also included in inherent drive for self-preservation. This theory suggests that man will always find themselves competing over resources and status, making it difficult to promote change in our society. Those in power will always suggest and rationalize their unfair practices with our country's need to access and maintain scarce resources. If the idea of those in power will not change, then our economy will continue to worsen, thus making change difficult, especially when applying this theory. Thank you for tuning in to our presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.